Welcome to the top 40 dynamic duos in baseball history. We're down to the final 10, folks. What's left is the creme de la creme. Link below, you'll find the previous 3 videos in case you missed some of the series or you're basically new to it. I know you've been waiting, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. Let's get on with the next ranking. At 10, we find ourselves with a duo that quite essentially matched 12 and 11s in stats. The only difference is they accomplished those numbers in 3 less years than the Killer Bees and 1 less than Santo and Williams. And the average WAR per year further illustrates how good they truly were. From 96 to 2007, they represented the ATL proudly. The first Golden Boy was the #1 overall pick, Mr. Chipper Jones, appropriately in a 96 Fleer Metal card titled Mining for Gold. I simply love this card so much. It captures his swing while gazing at a bomb, basically posterizing his number 10 C. Jones. His partner was able to give you a double dosage of the Love Jones. Obviously, none other than Mr. Andrew Jones, the pride of Curacao, also shining with a touch of gold, giving these two the Midas touch. 2000 was a year they combined for a great year, putting up crooked numbers all over the box score. Chipper enjoyed an MVP in 99, while bringing home 2 Silver Slug awards at third, and more importantly, he will always go down as one of the best switch hitters to ever play the game. As for Andrew, well, he simply burst onto the scene in 96, with home runs in his first 2 at-bats in the grandest stage, the World Series. I personally love watching him play the field. He has to go down as one of the most graceful, elegant, and smoothest to ever play center, which is why he was awarded 10 Gold Gloves, all while carrying a thunderous boomstick. This here duo at 10 always came to the park swinging their tomahawks that slashed and cut down the opposition for the Atlanta Braves.
Center. Can Andrew catch up with it? A diving catch ends the game!
1-2 pitch, swung on, hit high and deep to center field. Juan Pierre's gonna watch this one sail way out of here. Home run number 51 for Andrew.
Swing high fly ball, built to right center, and the Braves have won
it. The next duo at 9 is one that personally gave me nightmares from 89 to 99. That's 11 years of playing animalistically with an average WAR of over 11. And from here on out, you're not making it past 9 without an average WAR of 11 or more. The first half of this 2-headed monster is one that was touted as the natural, the kid. Of course, none other than Mr. Ken Griffey Jr., here with the most iconic card of the Junk Wax era, his 89 Upper Deck rookie card. And the other half of this monster mash is, well, the Spanish version, so I'll simply introduce him as Senor Edgar Martinez, making his appearance with his 89 Bowman rookie card. Both these offensive menaces showed in 97 just what they were capable of on a routine basis, a year in which Griffey brought home the MVP while also matching the previous duo at center with 10 Gold Gloves himself. I mean, I could go on and on about his accomplishments, but I'd rather simplify it by saying he was the best there was throughout the 90s. And as for Edgar, he was the perfect complement for Junior. A player that worked pitchers, never gave up an at-bat, and usually ripped a pitch up the gap or burned one down the line, which is why he was twice the batting champion in 92 and 95. Seattle was so damn fortunate to have these two matched like monsters while giving everyone else nightmares, including me.
No. And that ball is belted! That may be in the upper deck! Fly away, way over the hard rock of fame!
No balls and a strike to Martinez.
Line drive, we are tied! Griffin is coming around! And the corner's burning! He's gonna try to score! Here's the division championship! Mariners win it! Mariners win it!
Up next at 8 is a duo that helped revolutionize the game for the greater good while experiencing a ton of success. An 11.5 WAR average states how important they both were, not only to baseball but to their team's winning attitude. The first player was known as the Duke. No, not that Duke. I'm talking about Mr. Duke Snider and his 1951 Bowman baseball card, in which the artist felt compelled to capture Duke with his very famous swing. And his BK teammate needs no introduction whatsoever. I'll simply state number 42, Jackie Robinson, here with his 1953 Topps card, a card which is a very prideful pickup for me. In 1953, that was also a year in which these two helped lead the team to one of many World Series trips. Although losing to the Yankees in 6, a successful year nonetheless. The Duke was known for being one of the best center fielders in the game, drawing many comparisons to Mickey and Mays. He actually provided lots of muscle with 5 consecutive years of 40-plus home runs. Jackie Robinson, although a great player backed by his 49 MVP, will always be known for ushering in a new dawn in baseball, where anyone regardless of race can enjoy playing and getting paid for any team in need of their talents. Both Duke and Jackie will always be considered heroes to the fans of Brooklyn and, more importantly, the fans of this great sport I love.
With a 3-2 count, Jackie wallops a home run into the lower left field stands. For the first score of the series as the Brooklyn fans go wild.
For the series, he's 7-for-23. Boom! Look out. You needn't look anymore.
At 7, we have a duo that ruled throughout the 70s, for 11 years helping to bring in the funk for Cincinnati. The first of which was a catcher who was an all-star for all those years. I'm talking about the one and only Mr. Johnny Bench, here with a Topps card from 1977, a catcher who twice won an MVP in 1970 and 72. And his funky duo was somewhat Shakespearean, and to that I ask, what's in the name? That which we call a rose by any other name is Mr. Pete Rose, making it here with his 76 Topps card, in which he's looking so intense in the dugout. Or maybe he's just pissed at me for not giving him a seat at the table. I don't know. Now this 10-time All-Star had a great year with Bench in 1970, one of Bench's MVP years that proved he was an offensive juggernaut. Couple that with his 10 gold gloves, I'd say it's safe to say there's a pattern brewing here, with the top 10 duos having someone with 10 gold gloves. As for Pete, he was also known as Charlie Hustle, an attribute which helped earn him his MVP in 75. A year he was also largely responsible in helping to bring home a championship back to Cincinnati. Alas, his lasting legacy will be for both, having the most hits in the history of the game and also being banned from the Hall for gambling on the game. Unfortunately, only one of these two duos gained admittance, but both will go down as two of the best to play the game and for also forming an imposing duo for the Big Red Machine.
Swung on and hit well to left field. Get out of here, baseball! They scored! Oh my God! You believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up.
2-1 pitch from Shaw into left center. There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb. That's number 4,192.
At 6 is a duo that is probably the most awarded and accomplished out of all the duos. For 13 years, from 51 to 63, this duo compiled 6 MVPs with 7 World Series championships, while attending 25 All-Star games. The first is one of the most iconic names in the hobby, none other than Mr. Mickey Mantle, here with his Bowman 53 card. And you all know how much I simply love this set. It's why I felt compelled to bookend him with his counterpart, the one and only Mr. Yogi Berra. And you see, just like I said, the perfect bookends. This pairing were at their best in 56, a year in which Mantle won the Triple Crown. And now, I'm sure you're wondering, wait, what about Maris? They were the great M&M duo. Yes, they were. I'm not gonna lie, but they didn't sustain greatness for as long as Mickey and Yogi did. And to be quite honest, out of 7 years together, 3 of those years were the truly great ones. The other 4 were okay at best. Maris unfortunately went from greatness to what happened. As for this duo, each one was able to win 3 MVPs. Couple that with the fact that they were only 2 out of 6 AL players to ever do so. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Furthermore, Yogi will always go down as one of the best catchers to ever play the game. Couple that with probably the best center fielder to ever play, I would say they both epitomize the true meaning of what a dynamic duo stands for.
There's a drive to left center. Mantle digging hard. Still going.
but Yogi connects, and it's another homer over the right center wall. It's 10 runs batted in for Yogi, an all-time World Series record. Bagley gets one strike on Mantle, and there it goes over the right field fence across Bedford Avenue and deep into a parking lot.
And now, with the last 5, we have a dead ball duo that played together for 11 years, from 06 to 1916, with the WAR of 137. One of which has such a long career, he was able to form 2 amazing duos, and a player worthy enough to double dip with. That's the one and only Mr. Ty Cobb, once again with his Propaganda Montiel card from 1946. I mean, I try hard to come up with a second example for this duo, but his cards are just too damn expensive. As for his second tandem, here's another dead ball great, none other than Mr. Sam Crawford, also known as Wahoo Sam, with his 1913 Tom Barker card. Card I love so much because it gives you a vivid look at his likeness. So previously, you saw Cobb with Howman, a great duo with high averages, but with Sam, he was even better. 1911 was proof of what they accomplished together. A year giving you a glimpse at one of 9 batting titles for Cobb. That's right, guys. 9 batting titles in 11 years. That's simply amazing. As for Sam, he was a cleanup hitter who provided the might, often leading the league in triples. Now, in the dead ball era, triples were considered like homers. You have to realize, straightaway center were at times 480 feet without a fence. They simply roped off the crowd, and Crawford at times hit it there, leading to a triple. And to think, this duo couldn't even stand each other, in part to Sam's resentment of Cobb's success and popularity, in which he stole Sam's spotlight, also leading to Cobb's high salary. This isn't to say Sam wasn't great, which he was, but the tipping point came when Cobb insulted Sam and his wife at a team dinner party.
You play ball like a girl! What did you say? You heard me.
That's just cold-blooded. It goes to show you not every duo in this series were all sunshine and rainbows. At least, for these two, they were able to be professionals on the field and form a historic duo worthy of 5. So with the last duo, I double dip with Cobb. Now at 4, I'll double dip with dead ball duos. From 1897 to 1911, this duo had a total WAR of 169.9, good for an average WAR of 1132 over 15 long years. Looting and sailing the seas for the Pittsburgh Pirates, here's Fred Clarke with his T206 card from 1909. And it's got a 150 Piedmont back. It's someone I'm prideful to admit I do share a birthday with on October 3rd. His counterpart is the one and only very famous Mr. Honus Wagner, here with his T206. That's wishful thinking. This is 1914 Polo Ground game card with a pic of Wagner posing for the camera. And the Polo Ground's on the backside, allowing you to soak in a double dosage of vintage. Now this duo had their very best year in 1903, a year in which Clarke was able to match Wagner in average. And there weren't many years he was able to do so, because Honus, much like Cobb, ruled the National League in average with 8 batting titles. He also led the league 5 times in steals, alluding to his nickname of the Flying Dutchman. As for Clarke, he was an outfielder who was so smart, he also managed the team at the early age of 24. Fred helped lead the team to 4 pennants while winning the championship in 09. He loved being a player manager because while he was on the field, it allowed him not to be absorbed in the perplexities and troubles that plague a manager on the bench. It's safe to say, in a day and age where baseball is ruled by analytics, we'll never see another player manager like Clarke again. And it doesn't hurt when you get to pencil in Wagner as short every time you do make out a lineup card. At 3, we have a duo who averaged 12.30 WAR a year, from 1959 to 1971. That's 13 years as an M&M duo. Well, not the one from New York, but rather, San Fran had one of their own. That's right, starting with the 1969 MVP, Mr. Willie McCovey, here with his 1964 card from Topps. A beautiful card in which Willie is styling and profiling. As for his dynamic compadre, you can consider him M squared. or rather, the other half of the Case of the Willies. That's right, the Say Hey Kid, Mr. Willie Mays, here with his 1956 Topps card. Also a card in which Mays is styling and well, you know the rest. Both these two had a really nice year in '63, a year in which McCovey brought home the home run crown, a crown he also wore in '68 and '69. Mays was able to match McCovey with 3 crowns himself. Couple that with his 10 gold gloves, that makes it 4 so far, with top 10 duos earning 10 gold gloves. It's no coincidence defense wins games and earns you a spot this high on the list. The offense, awards, and high average WAR per year earns them number 3 overall for this dynamic duo.
Willie connects and hammers it 380 feet over the right field fence for his 512th round tripper. And he also hammers a new National League career home run record into the books.
McCovey. Drive to deep left field. Back goes Crawford. Still going back. It's gone! A grand slam home run! Williams scores. Bond scores. Power scores. McCovey rounding third base with the 14th grand slam of his major league career. The Giants lead 8-2.
At 2, we have a duo representing Boston, Milwaukee, and Atlanta. Well, mainly Milwaukee, for 13 years from 1954 to 1966. A duo so potent, they almost averaged a WAR of 14 a year. Starting with that third base, I'll introduce you to the immortal Mr. Eddie Matthews, here with his Topps card from 1953. I simply love the colors on this card so damn much. Couple that with Eddie's boyish smile, I think it's the best card they ever made of him. Now his duo has a pretty cool one himself. So next up I'll introduce you to the home run king, Mr. Hammerin' Hank Aaron, here with his 1954 Topps rookie card. Pretty iconic card to say the least. Now these two, they were a pain in the you-know-what in '59, a year in which Aaron brought home the batting title and Matthews the home run crown. Eddie's second actually after adding one in '53. It's no coincidence he's noted as one of the best third basemen to play the position. A player who ended his career with 512 home runs. Unfortunately, Hank Aaron laughs at those numbers, as he finished with 755, a record celebrated for a long while until Bonds broke it with a questionable asterisk. One thing that can't be taken away from him though is a championship and an MVP in '57. Add to that an even more important accomplishment of number 2 on this list.
Aaron lines a home run over the right field screen. And now the score is 7-3. And he connects. Hank Bauer moves back, but the ball is out of reach. A home run and a 7-5 Milwaukee victory.
Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
So, we've made it to 1. Finally, the best of the best of the best of the best. A combo that rose up above all the rest. Straight savages, before any anointed by boom. One that's almost a century old. From 1925 to 1934, a decade of 168 for a WAR, averaging a staggering 1681 per year. The first of which is a true icon of the sport. Without further ado, here's the Sultan of Swat, Mr. Babe Ruth, here with his 1933 card from Gehrig, a card in which he's gazing off into the sunset, looking back upon a life he could never imagine. One in which he joined forces with another true icon of the sport, the one and only Iron Horse, Mr. Gehrig, here with his Gehrig card from 1934, a card in which he's so photogenic it seems like he's even making himself blush. Now these two put up a great year in 1927, with numbers that were ungodly. They were both hitting you with average, power, and production. To be honest, these two made it hard to pinpoint a specific year because they had many seasons like this one. The only difference with 27 was Ruth set the home run record with 60 and Gehrig was awarded the MVP that same year. Aside from that, it was business as usual for these two. Now you may think Ruth carried this or any duo that he was a part of, what with his fame, power, and charisma that was groomed since a little boy at St. Mary's Reformatory School for Boys. I guess it's what hardened him and gave him the I've got nothing to lose mentality, so let me give him all hell, and boy did he ever. But Gehrig proved he's no second fiddle. What with his Triple Crown year in 34? Not a chance. Lou is widely regarded as the best first baseman to ever play the sport, and I can honestly go on and on about the merits of these two immortals, but I'd rather leave you with the thought that these two are undoubtedly number one as the best dynamic duo to ever play the sport. So this concludes the series of the top 40 dynamic duos in baseball history. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I did making it. Be sure to subscribe, like, and more importantly, comment. I'd love to know which were your favorites or any thoughts you had from the series. Let me know if you'd like me to make more like this one. Lastly, share the video if you think you know someone who might like the video. In the end, this is just a way for me to enjoy my passion for baseball, the hobby, and more importantly, contribute and interact with you, the card community. Until the next one, I wish you all happy hunting when it comes to cards. Stay safe and be blessed.